We're here today with Travis Graff, who's seeking one of the 3 open seats on the Springfield Park Board in the April 2nd election. We appreciate you being here today and invite you to provide an opening statement about why you're seeking this office.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Once again, my name is Travis Graff. I am 37. I am married to my wife, Ashley. We have been married for about 15 years. I have 2 kids, a 9-year-old Kason and 3-year-old Coley. I received my undergraduate degree from Eastern Illinois University in Information Systems, and then a couple years after that, I received my MBA from there as well. I currently work for Prairie Power. We're located here in Springfield. Prairie Power is a generation and transmission electric cooperative. My current title there is Manager of Billing and Settlements. I've been with them about 14 years, and I've been in the Springfield area since about 2006. So I consider myself a heavy park user, especially having younger children. We frequently visit playgrounds throughout the area. My family, we're heavy into running and using the bike and running trails. And I am part of the Springfield Kings hockey program. My son plays hockey there. So I have been around the Nelson Center quite a bit as well. Some of my goals for being on the Park District are I want to maintain and improve neighborhood parks. A lot of the spending that we see comes down to the bigger parks. I want to make sure some of the smaller parks get their equal say as well. We also need to provide affordable programs and activities to residents of all ages, so it doesn't matter young, older. We really need to offer something for everybody. We must provide a safe and enjoyable environment for all, and we always need to make responsible fiscal decisions.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your professional background and how you think that experience would be a benefit if you were on the park board.
Sure, yeah. Like I mentioned, I've been with Prairie Power for a while, 14 years. And I've held many different positions within the company. I've done everything from member services, interacting with our members and different vendors. I've been in the procurement side of things, so purchasing, trying to stick to budgets, going out for bids, and trying to get that low cost, the best option for the company, and trying to be a good steward of the money.
Great. So I was on the Park District's website recently, and it talks about how it oversees 35 parks, 23 miles of bike trails, 4 golf courses, the zoo, a variety of educational, recreational programs, classes, athletics. So it does a lot. But what do you think the average Springfield resident doesn't understand about the Park District that you wish they did?
I think they think of when you say the Park District, they simply just think about the parks, going there, playing on the playground equipment, and that's about it. But we have several magnificent facilities. We have the zoo, we have the Nelson Center, we got South Winds Park, and everything there. And I really I don't think people originally think of all these facilities we have. They just think, oh, the park. Let's go play baseball there. Let's go play on the playground, and that's it.
Okay. In other communities, parks fall under the purview of the municipality. That was once the case here as well. Since you're running for a seat in the park board, I'm going to assume you think the district should be separate from the city. So talk to us about why you think the current arrangement makes the most sense for citizens of Springfield.
Yeah, I do think it makes the most sense. I think if the Park District and the city were to merge, some of the day-to-day operations on things may get lost. Okay. We have a good executive staff at the Park District, good city government, and I think I think things just may be lost within that. Okay. Another thing is that there may be times where one entity or the other may reach out for a handout, and maybe that payment will always not be made back. So, I do think it's good to keep keep the two separate at this point.
Okay. What does the Park District do well that you would like to see continued?
I think right now the wide variety of programs they have, they're doing good. I didn't know before I started looking into running all the different programs they have. I figured it was just your basic, swimming, hockey, this and that.
Yeah.
But looking on their Facebook page and looking what I'm able to see on their website, there's a wide variety of activities and programs that they're hitting a lot of different age groups right now, a lot of different targets.
Okay. So then what do you see as areas where the Park District could improve?
I really think their website is one area that could improve.
What would you like to see done there?
I would like to see it much more user-friendly. All the different programs and information should be right at your fingertips, very easy to get to. Big thing is, I think you should be able to register online for programs. I'm aware of people that have said, I don't want to drive to the other side of town. I don't want to drive from out of town to sign up for a program, and they'll just stay in Chatham or wherever and do a program there instead of really coming to here and signing up for the program they want. So, me included, I would like to just be able to register for programs sitting at home, put my credit card in, and be done with it and not have to drive somewhere to do that.
So is there a particular issue as you've studied the Park District that you'd advocate for or against?
I would like to see, like I mentioned, we already have a wide variety of programs, but I would like those programs to be maybe looked at and see, hey, which ones are being utilized which ones are being fully utilized and which ones are not. So that way we could kind of come in and look and see, well, maybe these aren't the best programs. Maybe we need to bring something else in to try and fill a void that we currently don't have.
Okay. Well, one of the programs that's being discussed lately regarding the Park District is the preschool program at Washington Park.
Sure.
The Park District staff have recommended closing it. I guess talk to us about your thoughts on the program, and if you were on the board, how you think you might weigh in.
Yeah, I do think the program at this point is beneficial and is serving the residents well. I've heard some feedback from residents who currently have students attending the preschool, and they love the program. However, some of the downside that I hear is the enrollment in the program is down. They've made some cuts in previous years to consolidate some of the classes. So really, I think what we need to look at is the value of the program offsetting the expense enough? Is that per student expense worth it? As compared to if they would go to a preschool somewhere else. So overall, I do think it is a good program, and I would advocate for it to remain there. But we need to find out why enrollment is down, and figure out if there's other issues within the program. Maybe a marketing blitz coupled with a tuition increase a little bit, and something else might jump the numbers up in the program, and it would be a win-win for everybody. I'm not saying the program needs to be profitable and be a moneymaker by any means, but I do think it needs to pull its share of the weight for the people it serves.
I guess let's talk about the budget in general. Board members certainly get to look at the annual budget. What priorities and principles would guide you when you were presented with a budget as a board member?
Yeah, I think we need to look at what programs, what areas have the best value for the residents. We need to, make good sense of our spending. We can't be out doing wasteful spending, and we need to make purchases or set our priorities based on the benefit of all of the residents within the district.
One of the costs that is in the news every once in a while is the Park District Police.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some thoughts about that?
Yeah, I do think having the Park District Police is a good thing. We, being out at the Nelson Center or out at a local park, I do see them rolling by and keeping an eye on things. I'm not sure all what was done a couple years ago when the evaluations were made to, weigh one against the other option. But at this point, I do think having the Park District Police is beneficial to the residents, and really just being out there patrolling, being seen, and making that connection with them.
Some of the budgetary constraints the Park District may face are not necessarily they're dictated by other people, specifically the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly thinking of the recent increase of the minimum wage. It'll be $15 an hour by 2025. What effect do you think that will have on the Park District?
I do think it is going to have some effect on them. Of course, there's, we're going to see employee costs go up. I'm not sure we'll see that here in the first couple of years,
Yeah.
Because it does go into effect at different stages. But I think we're going to have to get creative and find ways to overcome that. Whether it's hiring a couple less people and maybe looking at having a group of people do a couple different things. That's just something we'll have to look at. But I do think it's going to be an impact, or going to have an impact, and it may not be shown right away, but I think it eventually will.
We've talked about some of the other things the district runs, and that includes the zoo. In December 2011, the Park Board adopted a master plan for the zoo. And how would you rate the progress made on that plan, and what, if any, changes would you like to see happening at the zoo?
I do think the zoo is headed in the right direction. They have made quite a few upgrades here in recent years, from when I first started attending the zoo up until just last year. They've been adding stuff. So while I'm not real familiar with the overall master plan of the zoo, I have personally seen an increase in attractions there, cleaning things up, and just making it have a better user-friendly experience while you are there.
The Park District, along with the city and UIS, are looking into a bike share program. And they're all going to do it with the same vendor. Do you support such a program, and what benefits do you think having a bike share program could be for the Park District?
I do think there would be a benefit to that. There's times where you're out at the park, you have a little bit of time, and instead of just walking, you might there may be an option to jump on a bike there. So this is the first that I've heard of this, and I do think it would be beneficial. It would give another form of exercising when you're out there, out at the parks. And if it's something the city and the Park District, and you had mentioned UIS, could go in on, maybe that would help offset some of the costs to it as well.
What do you think is the relationship between the Park District and the city? How would you categorize it?
I would say it's it's fair from what I know. I haven't heard anything negative on the relationship. I know there's been a few issues with maybe gaining some ground or being able to serve certain parks with some of the resources they need. But overall, I think things are going okay, and I would push for a good relationship between the city and the park district.
One area the park district spoke out against, not necessarily against the city, but a move the city wanted to make was with the TIF district recently, the Lumber Lane TIF district. And obviously TIFs, they provide incentives for economic development, but the flip side is other tax entities, such as a park district that receive property taxes for a set time, don't receive some of the funds they otherwise would. What do you think of the use of TIF districts by the city? And as a park board member, how would you feel if they wanted to keep doing more TIF districts?
Well, I do think TIF districts have a time and a place for certain things. However, I'm not a big supporter of TIF districts,
okay.
And I do think maybe that could possibly have a negative effect on the park districts.
Okay.
Early on, you mentioned your interest in safe and enjoyable environment in the park settings. Yeah. How would you evaluate the Springfield Park District now on that?
From a public safety perspective, from a policing perspective, I think we're doing well. However, going out and playing on some of the playground equipment, using the ball diamonds, I've come across quite a few unsafe instances of broken playground equipment that a child could just jump on. Some of the fences at the baseball facilities, they're starting to come apart, and there's wires exposed, and if somebody rubs up against that, it's gonna hurt. So overall, public safety, I think we're doing well. It's just we need to clean up a little bit on some of the playground and other areas where we could see some issues.
Just addressing kind of routine.
Oh, yes, routine maintenance. And it could be something as easy as when they're out there mowing the fields. If maintenance guys see, some fences starting to, the tops start to creeping off the post, just get out, either report it, or if they would have the ability to just, get a zip tie or a wire tie and tie it back up, so those issues aren't facing us.
Would you like to see any expansion of the park district, like if there was available land, or if new developments came in, would you like to see parks?
Yeah, no, I don't see needing to expand anymore. We have an overabundance. We have many parks already, and some that are not being fully utilized. So we have 4 to 5 big parks, which I think is great for the city this size. Instead of going out and getting more land and building structures on them and spending the money on that, I would just like to see that money put back into the parks that we have, especially those that are not receiving much money right now.
Mm-hmm. Early on, you mentioned neighborhood parks and kind of focusing on some of them. Mm-hmm. Is there one in mind or a couple in mind that you'd? Yeah,
well, just out at for example, it's not a real small park, but it's not one of the big parks. Douglas Park. Some of their playground equipment out there is starting to get pretty dated, and it just it feels like it could use a little bit of an upgrade in that area. Mm-hmm. So.
One of the provisions that many subdivisions have is that the developer should provide some community park space. Mm-hmm. what should the relationship of that be to the park district? Should the park district assume those, or?
I don't think so. I think what the park district already has their hands full. I don't think we need to start having these small new developer parks pop up and come under the control of the park district. I think if a developer is going to put them in, that's great. I'm all for that. But there needs to be some sort of resources there to help maintain that park.
So through the homeowners association?
Exactly, yes, yep.
Do you think vehicles should be allowed to drive through Washington Park?
I think they should be allowed to drive through most of the park.
Okay.
So I'm all for doing a circle around the park, and being able to get to where you want to go.
Okay.
But there's areas that need to be blocked off to not allow for that. I know currently they have some bike and hike days or whatever they're called.
Yeah, where it's kind of like closed off.
Yeah, where they close it off, and that's great. Close it down and do those. But overall, in general, I don't think we should restrict driving throughout Washington Park.
Okay. Questions?
Oh, that's good.
Well, we thank you for meeting with us today, Travis, and invite you to give a brief closing statement as to why voters should choose you on Election Day.
Sure. Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me. And I just want to say that I'm here. I'm gonna dig into things if somebody brings them to my attention, and I'm out and about throughout the park. So if I am elected, I would look forward to people coming up, introducing me, and letting me know their thoughts on what we're doing good, what we can improve on, and we could have a good relationship there. So, thank you.